Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Strive for Good Life podcast. My name is Nino Pingera, and I'm here with Michał Stavitsky, who is an author and now a coach in the personal development space. And I'm super excited to have him here. He's got lots of knowledge and wisdom to share with us today. So welcome, Michał.
Thanks for having me, Nino. And you nailed it. Michał will start.
That's good to hear. It's not an easy one, not for us English speakers. Okay, let's just jump in and talk about your background and, how you initially started in entrepreneurship.
It started in August 2012 when I read the book The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's a book about the power of persistence, and it shares the message of Jim Rohn. Success is a few simple disciplines repeated over time. So up to that moment, I thought success is something grand, so I never even tried because I felt unable to succeed. Yeah, okay, I cannot get a golden medal at Olympics or start another Microsoft. Yeah, I will not succeed, I will not try. But a few simple disciplines repeated every day, well, that I felt like I was able to do. And still it took me a month of grappling with that message before I actually started doing what the book recommended. And then I never looked back. I set goals, broke them down into some daily disciplines, developed dozens of daily habits, and it really transformed my whole life.
I love that. So maybe walk us through some of those disciplines or those daily habits that you started to set for yourself and kind of where that led you.
So what Jeff recommends is setting a goal in every area of your life and then break it down into some daily actions so you will actually inch toward this goal, at least move in the right direction. So I did just that. And you are always at the level of your own awareness. So, for example, when it comes to the career part of life, back then I was IT database administrator, and like that was all anyone ever paid me something for. So this is the only thing I knew that I will get money for. So what I figured out, okay, I will study professional documentation for 10 minutes a day. That was my initial goal in the discipline in the career space. And sure enough, in like year or two, I got a salary rise. I think it was less than a year. Not significant, but always worth something. And in a few years, I passed a few professional exams. I got a few certificates and changed jobs. I got 30% more salary. So despite the fact that really at that level, that was all I knew, it worked. It worked absolutely well. Next to that, in a few months, I started writing. Then I started coaching. So I started figuring out new ways to earn money. But well, that wasn't on my radar, that wasn't my awareness, so I couldn't even set a daily discipline in that space. When I started writing, then I set myself a goal to write every day for a specific amount of time, 30 minutes, 1 hour, specific number of words. And it worked as well. I published 19 books. I wrote almost 3 million words. I'm tracking it in my writing log.
Yeah, that's incredible. So when you started writing, was it just, did you set out? I mean, how did the idea or the goal of writing a book come about? I mean, was it just you wanting to share the knowledge that you were gaining from your own personal development, or, why did you decide to, pursue publishing books and specifically in this topic?
Yeah, so at the beginning of my transformation, I spent a lot of time reading, watching, listening, personal development stuff. One of the books I read was, or rather I read it when I was 18, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there was this concept of writing your own personal vision statement. So I did that, and in the process of, like examining myself, looking into what I want and what I'm good at and so on, I rediscovered my childhood dream of being a writer. So this was really my driving force, and I had a few different attempts, failed attempts, started a few blogs, started writing fiction in Polish, and then I got feedback on the literary forum that it's okay, but to be publishing worthy, I needed to work on my craft, and I felt like I don't have time for it. I needed to do something which could earn me money pretty fast. And then one of my friends read my blog post and said, well, that could be a nice ebook out of that. Then I started to exploring what self-publishing is, how to get your book on Amazon and so on. And then when I published my first book, people started buying it. Like, I bought a copy a day, and I was shocked. Yeah, I was really nobody from nowhere, and people still were willing to buy what I wrote, pay money for that. So, okay, I was hooked, and I kept writing. I published in the first 3-4 years. I published like a dozen or 15 books.
Wow. So, okay, so you had this childhood dream of being a writer, and then you kind of just happened to fall into, I mean, I guess because you were already, interested in personal development, you just seemed to fit with, with this desire to write books. And so, okay, that's very interesting. So as far as self-publishing, why did you go the self-publishing route? Was it just because you didn't have a lot of money, or, kind of what was your motivation for that and, trying to sell on Amazon?
It was very easy choice, because otherwise I couldn't publish. Like, who would bet on me? I would need to develop my own brand and then find an agent and pitch my idea to the publisher, and I just read about the process, and it was for me like, thank you, goodbye, no. Since I started writing, since I wrote the first words till hitting the publish button, it took me 49 days with my first book.
Wow.
It wasn't very big. It's like about 10,000 words. So a booklet rather, but still the whole process for a newbie, a rookie who knows nothing. And I read the book of Steve Scott, who explained the self-publishing process for self-publishers. And I had on one screen the book opened, and on the other screen my manuscript, and I did or KDP interface, Kindle Direct Publishing, and I was following the steps from the book. So I was clueless at the very beginning, yet still I was so much faster to, from the idea phase to publishing. And then I profited immediately as well. Like I got my first royalty payment in November and I published in May.
Wow.
Yeah, so as a traditionally published author, yeah, maybe you could get some advance, but that's about all you will see for years.
Yeah. Okay, so you followed, sounds like this book really outlined the process, and so you were able to follow that step by step essentially, and just apply it directly to what you were doing. That okay. So you had some help there in that way. As far as selling, was it just that first sale? I mean, I'm sure it felt really good, right? As it does for anyone just getting into entrepreneurship. Was that just some random person that found your book on Amazon, or were you trying to sell it to friends and family first, or how did you go about getting that first sale?
Yeah, well, in 2013 it was pretty easy because then you could have those free promotion, and afterwards, if you got some traction, Amazon would promote your book on their own. So this is what I found as a recommendation in the book. So I followed it, and that's one thing. Yes, I also pitched it to my friends, and some of them bought. And I remember that at some point, like after a week, I was like, yeah, those copies are from Lynn and Anne and so, but well, there are too many. Someone who I don't know for sure bought the book.
Yeah. It's got to be a good feeling knowing that strangers online are seeing your work, and that
it was like,
right.
you know, I was a very shy first-time author. I was even shocked when in the free promotion I got like 400 downloads. It already was for me. Oh wow, hundreds of people want to read this. Cool. But seriously, when they started buying, that was when I was really, really hooked. Like, okay, that's possible. I can make money out of that. It's not easy, like being an author and living from your royalties. It's not an easy feat. Now I know it after a decade in self-publishing trenches. But it's definitely doable, and I had periods when my royalties matched my day job salary or even exceeded it.
Wow, that's incredible. So I'm curious as to know how I mean, because you said it was 49 days or something incredible that you went from just starting to then having a published book. Did you have some kind of an outline or some kind of a process to help you actually do the writing? Because a lot of people, it'll take them years to put an idea on paper. So how were you able to so quickly put together a book?
First of all, it's, as I said, it is a very short work. So imagine writing a very lengthy blog post. It was something like that. So on the one hand, and yes, I had no outline, and because with the outline I could write it faster. Now I have the outlining process which I follow with my books, and it speeds up. It makes it like the whole project more coherent from the day one. But then I just had, this idea of writing a book. My first book is a personal mission statement, Your Roadmap to Happiness. And so explaining the process of how to get from, okay, what the heck is personal mission statement, to, I have it. I have this sheet of paper with my mission on it, and I'm using it because it wasn't just, however, it's like 80% of the process too. Get it, yeah, okay, you finally have your mission on paper. But then, quite a few people kind of complain, okay, I got it, I put it in a drawer, and what, yeah, so I was like fresh after the whole process, and I had been using my personal mission statement every day. So I knew, first of all, the process was fresh in my mind, so I could easily put it on paper. And then also I knew what to do with your personal mission once you have it, so it makes the impact, so it really motivates you. So it's a tool, not just, an accomplishment on your to-do list.
Yeah, that's important. So you said people were complaining. Did that about what to do with it? And so, does that mean that you did rewrites on the initial book, or did you then
No,
move
it's
forward with?
the feedback from readers of 7 Habits of Effective
Oh,
People.
okay.
Yeah, so there is the idea of how to write, not really how to, but why you should write. And people made their own attempts, and like it didn't really change their lives because they weren't using the personal mission statements. Yeah, they just had it.
Okay, so that's the gap in the marketplace that you saw. You saw that readers of the books 7 Habits of Highly Effective People weren't able to apply the personal mission statement.
And it's really even hard to hammer out your own personal mission statement after reading the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, because there are some guidelines, but they are really broad. It's my book is very concrete. It's a step-by-step process. You will get questions to answer. You will get mental exercises to perform. If you follow the process, you will get your personal mission statement.
I love that. Okay, so you just made it simple for people to do something that readers of the book already wanted to do. You just gave them a process for that, and made it more applicable. And I mean, I love that. That's a great way to solve problems in the world, right? I mean, and start a business. So that's amazing that you did that. After that book, what was kind of the evolution of thought in the other books that you were writing? Was it to kind of continue along that path, or was it just other topics that you were interested in personal development in that space? Or I don't know, was there any kind of a plan in your mind as far as what you were doing with the books?
Not much of a plan. For the beginning, I wanted to have a series about how to implement, habit mindset into your life. So how habits are easy to translate into recurring actions, which will get you the results. So I wrote like 5 books in that series. Once I finished it, it was really, I jumped from topic to topic. And also within the series, which is like 5 volumes, each volume is about a different thing, like how to apply habits to weight loss, time management, speed reading. I was teaching my son also, like not exactly homeschooling, but school didn't do much for him, so we needed to make up for that. And this is the process I put into one book, and and overcoming shyness. So also also in the later books as well, I was 80% of my books are how I implemented different things, how I thought about them, and how I got results. So I wrote it based on my experience. That's why those topics of those 5 books after personal mission statement, I just did something and I deemed it significant enough. Yeah, and sometimes I had this idea that it's not that impressive or that fitting the market need, but I just wanted to share it. For me, it was impressive. I was really moved by how my son improved his grades within half a year, and later on it appeared that he has some learning disabilities, but I didn't know when I started, and just consistent application of small things helped him a lot. And that was what this few series is about. Yeah, consistent applying simple steps, practicing for 10 minutes a day, and you can accomplish a lot.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it just makes me think about what you said earlier, before you started your journey. You had the mindset that, well, if I don't create the next Microsoft, or if I'm not the next Steve Jobs, there's no point in trying. But all you did was solve a problem for yourself, and then package that in a way that allowed other people to use that experience and help them. And that's all starting a business really is. And so I think that's fascinating. Okay, so let's talk about how that evolved from being an author to then coaching and helping others. When did that shift happen, and what motivated that?
It was like the law of attraction in practice, because I had really no idea how to like I was reluctant to go to the standard road, speaking, being a guru, writing and so on, being on social media. One thing, I was employed full-time, didn't really have time for that. Second, I wasn't that confident about myself, and feared it was just, it didn't feel good. So, but I was on the platform which was called Lift.do, and it was a habit tracking platform. So I used it to track my dozens of my daily habits. And because I was like a power user, I had plenty of habits and checkpoints. I was invited when they shifted in the pursuit of monetization from purely habit tracking application to coaching habit application. So they invited me to this power user group, and then I did a coaching certificate with them and started coaching people within the application. It's based on like daily accountability, really. At the beginning, you are figuring out what is the goal. So something I did with myself. Yeah, set the goal and then figure out what's the daily discipline that will inch you toward that goal. And I coached there over 100 people one-on-one. So that was my like beginning with coaching. And I was making a few $100s a month with the peak of that activity. So for the amount of work I was putting into it, that was good money. But it wasn't a really life-changing money. However, also at that moment, around that moment, I started playing with Amazon ads, which was really the point at which my book sales exploded, my royalties increased, and I also learned the skill of running the ads, book ads on Amazon, which is now my business. Like 80% of my income come from book advertising.
Okay. All right. So you use the books to advertise your coaching. Is that what you're saying? Or
no, I was using the Amazon interface, Amazon system.
Yeah, it's platform.
Yeah, exactly. To make my books more visible, and then to sell more copies.
All right. So it's to sell books. Okay. So
yes.
All right. That makes sense. I was curious if you use the books, as some kind of a lead magnet now, or if you have links in there to drive traffic to your coaching program, or how do you leverage your books now as a marketing tool, or do you?
I don't do that very well. I know like the idea, but However, over the years, because I sold tens of thousands of copies of my books, I had coaching clients who approached me and, please, let's coach me. And that's it. Yeah, so I, half a dozen at least. Even without any call to action in my books to do that, I also very indirectly do it, because in all of my books, I have call to action to join my email list. And then in my emails, I'm sharing what I'm doing. So if people are interested in what I'm doing, like coaching or any other thing, book advertising, yeah, of course, if it's that at the top of their mind, they will reach out to me, and I had book advertising clients, I had coaching clients out of such interactions.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you have your links in there that do direct people to you, and they connect, and naturally it sounds like they just want to learn how you've been successful in publishing, which is pretty amazing. What are some of those tips? What do you think? I mean, I know that so much of your success is built on the habits that you've established, but as far as maybe the books themselves, what makes your books so great? Why are people resonating with them? Why are they selling so well?
Well, I feel like you're asking a bigger question, not just about my books, but in general. And that's different for I'm writing, how-to books, which are for education purposes. It's a bit different game when you write, entertainment, romance books, for example. It's a different when you are writing textbooks. But in a nutshell, you want a book that it's referable. It's pretty hard to achieve it in the self-help space. Because then you need to talk about some of deficiency of yours when you are there. I was like obese, and like even starting from that point is hard for some people to recommend. Okay, and I see you are not so thin, so maybe you could use that. That's really in uncomfortable conversation, and it's not that easy to achieve that effect in a self-help space. But like in the education space, business books, this is what Alex Hormozy is doing with his books. He wrote such a good books that people are willing to share them, and they implement them in their own businesses, get results. Of course, they will brag about this, and also will recommend it to their friends and so on. And the same goes for those entertainment books. If your book is a great read, so by the way, that was one of because the title of the book is 61 More Ways to Sell Your Nonfiction Kindle Books. And one of the points was write books, not lead magnets. So good books that are actually A, readable, and B, useful. So if it's entertainment, of course, the process is pretty reliable. But then it's also like if it was a great fun, of course you will share it with your friends, yeah. And that's how you really get this effect of readability, because just like I'm in the ad space on Amazon, so like the biggest bookstore in the world, where are people ready to buy a book, and I'm with my ads, I'm displaying books in front of eyes, millions of people every month. But it won't make your book successful. Because yes, let's assume it will increase your sales. Okay, People will be clicking on the ads, landing on your book page, and it will be convincing enough so they will buy. But then it's just the efficiency of your ads. And I can tell you, it's like with any other space. In 2016, when I started, I paid 2 cents per click, and I could get zillions of clicks, and the performance was not an issue at all. Okay, if I pay 2 cents, then I can have 100 clicks to sell one book and still be profitable. And now, especially for those very popular books like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, those this cost per click is just incredible. $1, $2, $5. And then, okay, if you need 10 clicks for $5, you need to spend $50 to sell one copy. No, you're not making $50 per one copy. So unless you have this mechanism, which is, referability, so people will read your book and recommend to others, or will read your book, and then you have 10 more in the series, and so they will read 10 more. Okay, now you got back your $50 or whatever you paid. 50 is really extreme example right now, but maybe in 5 years it won't be extreme anymore. So that's the general answer to a question. Yeah, what to do. But and then the particular implementation, as I said, it differs from person to person and book to book. One of my clients is thriller author. He has 5 thrillers similar to Jack Reacher, ex-military guy, a lonely hero, killing all the bad guys. So, like, cliche thing. But his 5th book has almost 8,000 reviews. And I asked him, come on, man, how did you do that? And he answered, well, I did nothing special, really. I'm just writing good books. And that's it. Yeah, so they are so good. And I read the first book. Yes, it's good. Like, I was turning pages like crazy. So if you're in the entertainment space, that's like the only requirement. It's a good flow. You hook your readers and it works for you. In case of my books, I think like the biggest attraction of them for my readers is that they are relatable. I'm not this ivory tower guru. I'm not Anthony Robbins with millions of dollars who can tell you, okay, eat just vegetables and let your, workforce do your dinners and clean your house. Nope, I'm just normal average guy, and I was in the middle of everything. So I have 3 kids, marriage, full-time job, mortgage to pay. I had back then over 2-hour commute back and forth. Wow. Normal average guy, and I applied those things, used them to get me out of that lifestyle to my current lifestyle, where I am boss of my own. I earn more than ever in my day job. I have freedom of time. And my health is much better. My relationships are better. So I think that's the point of attraction when it comes to my books. Yeah, people can relate to me, and then can feel, if he could do it, I can do it too.
I love that. I think there's so many people out there that think that you have to be, some guru to be able to write a book, and and the fact that you're proof that you don't, that you can be an average guy and do it is it speaks volumes. Just touching on, just to kind of distill a lot of what you said, or try to, it sounds like some of the main points were that you have to create a lot of value and package a complete solution into your book, right? Not just make it a lead magnet, not just give partial answers, but to really make it valuable to the reader, solve a problem, in your case, right? Or at least, give it good hooks and make it a page turner that people can really sink their teeth into. So it has to read well, and the value has to be there for people above all else. And so I think those are excellent points. I'm curious as to know how or what you did to make sure that your writing was on par. And did you have, did you seek the help of other authors? Did you have a really good editor? How did you make sure that the readability was top notch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that was also advice from 61 Ways to sell more books. To actually have a proofreader and editor, and don't produce your own books on your own. If you are a pro author, and that's what I was aiming to live off my royalties, it's a must-have, unless you are, this rare unicorn who can edit his own books or write so well that it's coherent in the first draft, which both things I'm not. And so with my first books, I reached out to my friend, and she volunteered to just proofread them for free, and they were really well proofread, other than one, which was my speed reading book, which was very specific, and then readers complained about readability, and then I edited it once again, but still that book sold probably over 10,000 copies. So yes, I always had someone going over. Then a small publisher found me, like Hybrid Publisher, and they reread my own books and reedited them. And that's why I know that the initial version was solid, because there were very few changes in those manuscripts. And then later on we split it, and now my process is that I write the first draft, I read it, and like maybe aloud, so I can find really, the best structure of the sentence, because if you read it aloud, then it's either too long or it just doesn't make sense. It's not in English, which is also my problem from time to time. I'm writing Polish in English, which is then not understandable for English speakers. Like the words are English, but it doesn't make sense, and it's not just translating idioms, which I had done at the beginning, my Polish idioms into English, which then they make no sense at all. But just a kind of thinking. It's a different type of thinking in Polish and English. So I read it, and then I send it to my proofreader, so they can catch all the typos, like really errors in writing, not errors in the content. And then it goes to my editor. Well, not then, because actually before I send it to proofreader, I share it with my beta readers, and then can find something, then proofreader, then I edit it twice. Edit it, and then the final stage is the actual proofreading. So looking for errors in the text, lack of commas, and so on. So in the end, it's like five-stage process. And I feel like the books are good enough after that.
Okay, so you have so a couple editing stages, Okay, that makes sense. Um, what do you? So it sounds like a lot of the reach has come from ads on Amazon. Do you recommend people learn how to do that themselves, or do you outsource that as well? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I have a book advertising agency. We are running ads for other authors, and I always tell them I'm the second best options. You are the best option. You should learn it and run it. But if you are like technically challenged, or maybe don't like learning, or you feel like, and I have such clients, uh, time is worth so much more that they are willing to pay $1,000 to run ads for them, and then add another few $1,000 of advertising budget. It like for them it's no-brainer. They will make more money writing the next book or running the business instead of running the ads. But when I started, most of my clients were just scrappy self-publishers with low budgets. And if you are this kind of author, definitely, if you have more time than money, definitely I recommend learning how to run Amazon ads. And then maybe Facebook ads and BookBub ads. Those are the three different advertising platforms that are really working for books.
Okay, so you do recommend Facebook as well for books? Yeah.
Like okay. Amazon is the first option. I would say BookBub is second, and Facebook is the third one.
Okay.
I've seen also like attribution numbers in my client's account for Facebook ads. I don't run Facebook ads. So Amazon ads for him are converting like 4 times better than Facebook ads. Yeah, because this is what I said. They are already in the bookstore. They are already looking for something to read. It's so much harder to take someone off Facebook, which is really a distraction platform. Yeah, so they are there to distract themselves, and then took them out from there to Amazon and then make a purchasing decision.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, it makes sense that people are going to buy a book, in the place that they're already shopping for books, right? And that just says a lot about placing your product in the right spaces. No matter what kind of business you run. You said something earlier as well that I wanted to go back to, and that had to do with ad spend and I should say the cost of ads, and how you could make it up if you had a series or some other way of extending the lifetime value of the customer, essentially, right, to regain any losses on the initial ad spend. Have you been intentional about that? Or I guess, what have you done to keep ad costs low is really what I'm getting at, or to still make, advertising profitable for you?
Yeah, so what I do for all of my clients, before we start the ads, we are changing the book description, because on Amazon, your book page is your sales page. So your book description should be like a sales copy. And for many, many authors, it's not. They are trying to put synopsis there, or a recent example of one of my friends who is online entrepreneur. He should know better. He put like just thank you section in his book description. And nobody cares about it. Like, okay, thank you to my wife, but what's in it for me? Yeah, so that was a terrible, terrible sales page, and he sold very few copies. So that's the main thing to do every single time when you advertise your book, no matter which platform. Like, work on your book description. And on your book page overall, there are some other tools Amazon allows you to use, so you can present your book differently, but they are secondary. Book description is like the 80% of it. And that's where you should put your marketing efforts, because I'm very confident that I can put your book in front of hundreds of thousands of people, every single book, whatever this book is. Then if they will click on it, that's the matter mostly of the cover. So it's good to have a good cover. But also the cost is happening when they click, because the Amazon ads are pay-per-click. So having millions of impressions costs you nothing. Having thousands of clicks costs you a fortune. And then they will click and they will land on your book page, and there they will make the purchasing decision. So how they interact, and you don't know, because there are really no tools like heat maps for Amazon. At least I don't know of them. So it's hard to figure out how people interact with your book. What I've seen, because I've advertised hundreds of books, so I've seen different behavior patterns in the numbers. Yeah, people are seeing the ads a lot, but they are not clicking, which is, as I said, half of a problem. You are not paying for clicks in that scenario, and then okay, my cover sucks, so I need to change it so people will click on the ad. But the biggest problem is, most of the time, as I said, I'm very confident that I can put your book in front of hundreds of thousands of people. No problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But I cannot force them to buy. So they will click. Then once they click, what they see, the first thing they see is book description, and it's, as I said, about 80% of the processing decision. So this is where your efforts should go in order to decrease your cost of advertising. And other thing than that is really what you have. Like you said, there's how to extend lifetime value of customer. So I have also a client who is a dating coach, and he makes a lot of money from coaching, and he spends on my fees and on the ad spend like about 5,000 a month. But it's worth it for him, because then in his book he has call to action and to get on his website, his email list, and also because this kind of book, meaning, okay, it's a specific problem, you have specific solution. He got quite, more than once, so it's a pattern, clients who just saw the book on Amazon, so the ad on Amazon didn't even land on his book page. So research him via Google, found him, and reached out to him and became his clients.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, potentially how you set it up, it can lead to incredible profits, through other services and products that you offer. I'm curious. So, okay, so just to kind of summarize, so it sounds like cover is what gets clicks, and then the book description, which is your sales page, is actually what converts, right? So
yes.
So both need to be good, but especially that second one, the book page, or the book description. Sorry. Okay. As far as, just out of curiosity, because we're talking about this, as far as keyword targeting, I'm not familiar with Amazon's ad platform. So are there tricks there as far as targeting efforts, the keywords that you use? Do you do long tail keywords, like you would on, Google ads, or what do you recommend there?
So their system is mostly like adjusted to targeting other products in the store. Like we authors, we got the advertising system from the general advertising system for physical products, and this is how really you position yourself. Yeah, you try to get featured on your competitors' page. So that's a lot of it. And if you like try to follow this process, it's costly. Yeah, because let's say 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yes, sometimes there are like 40 pages of ads under this book, but still it's a limited number, and there are millions of authors who would like to have the book featured there. So that's one. Long tail keyword, it's a thing definitely for books. I also had some attempts for physical products, and it doesn't work almost at all for physical products, but it works for books. Why? I'm guessing they are indexing whole book text. And then if you have millions of books and each has, whole text indexed, practically everything matches with everything at some level, because you have just common English words. In case of physical products, your sales page is like 4,000 characters, and not everybody are using all of it. So it's harder to match products. So yes, at the very beginning, as I said, I was paying 2 cents per click, and I was targeting totally general things like just books. And then Amazon was figuring out maybe personal development books or self-help books or whatever, like overcoming shyness, whatever else. They know their customers, their sales history and their browsing history. So they match. Like someone types something and then they look at your book's metadata, and so it works, but it has a huge problem of, well, there's this AI behind it, and it's not that smart and that human. So you can get a traffic that is not at all relevant to your book. Yeah, and then you are getting many clicks. Like, for example, if I get romance readers for my personal development books, like conversion rate would suffer extremely. It's not that bad. Sometimes, like when there is a glitch, it's that bad, but very rarely. But yeah, it's much. The conversion rate is much lower because the targeting is much broader, not narrow. So yes, it works, and it works only for books, and I have at least a dozen accounts of my clients where we run just those random ads. We are, matching most common English words and popular phrases from the Amazon search engine and so on. And it works, and they convert. Clicks are cheap enough. So like they need 10, 20 clicks to get a sale. Book pages are good enough, so they are getting 10 to 20 clicks. And the clicks are like 15 cents, 20 cents, so they still are making money with that method. And it's super easy, super lazy, because once you have your database of keywords, and we have 70,000 common phrases, creating the ads takes like a couple of hours, maybe 3, and that's it. And it can run forever, but of course, you need to have this book that converts very well and has universal appeal, as I said, because you are not targeting anything. In the end, you allow Amazon to figure out, okay, this person has this reading history, so maybe they will be interested in, which is, as I said, hit and miss. But it works, and it works for books only, not for physical products.
Yeah, interesting. This has been a fascinating conversation. I just realized we're, pressing up on time. Where can people go to connect with you and potentially work with you?
My blog is expandbeyondyourself.com. I haven't posted anything there for like half a year, but still, all the content is actual, relevant blog posts and so on, and sign up forms to my email list. But it's very easy to find me on the internet. Just type Michał Stawicki and whatever is in your mind, coaching, habits, books, blog, and I will appear at the first page of Google, because I'm a Polish guy with Polish name in the English speaking space. So I love Google for that.
That's perfect. Yeah, it makes it easy. Okay, well, we'll have for anyone listening, we'll have the links to your website and maybe I don't know if you set me. Are you on social media? Do you have a presence there?
Yes, I'm not very active there, but I have my Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter accounts.
Okay, perfect. We'll try and link some of those in the show notes. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was great to have you. I hope the readers got a lot of value out of this. I know I did. My mother is writing a book currently, and I eventually want to write a book as well. So I know that all these lessons learned today are going to come back to help in the future. And so I'm excited for that. Thank you. For anyone listening out there, please make sure to, subscribe on whatever platform you're on so you don't miss any future episodes. And please share this with as many people as possible. That helps us out. Thank you so much again, Michał, for being here. And to everyone out there, have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one.